2012, I was grinding 6.5 days a week. I was doing everything myself, from generating leads to structuring loans and managing the pipeline. I was closing 3, maybe 4 loans a month, and I was exhausted. And I missed on a lot of time with my family and friends. Fast forward to 2019, 7 years later, and I'm running a $100 million plus personal production team while only working 40 hours a week and taking multiple vacations a year without even checking one email. That is a true story. This is all because I learned how to build a team of assistants who could operate without me for short periods of time. I'm Amir Syed, and I funded over $1 billion in mortgage loans throughout my career. And now I have the great honor and privilege to show other loan officers how to do it too, but hopefully faster than it took me. And in this video, I'm going to share with you a few gems, starting with the 5 rungs of the mortgage mastery ladder and how to climb up each level. Share with you guys the biggest hiring mistakes most loan officers make that sabotages their growth. Share with you the 3-step delegation process to free yourself from busy work that you don't even enjoy doing. And I'll even share with you the exact hiring sequence to help me go from 0 million production to 25 million to 50 million and $100 million production a year without breaking down or burning out. Now, when I was funding about $25 million a year in production, I was grinding nonstop, doing everything myself. But when I finally built the right team and scaled it to 50 million and then to 100 million plus, and my actual workload went down, is when my mind was blown that it's actually easier to close $100 million a year than it is to close $25 million a year. And if you ask most top producing loan officers who have done that as well, many will agree with me about that. It's very similar to how some entrepreneurs will say making your first $1 million a year is a lot easier than your first 100,000, but only if you have the right people, the who, not the how. When you're doing everything yourself, your income is limited to your time. If you want to close more loans, you have to work longer hours. That's a broken system. You will always be the bottleneck. But when you build a team, a high-performing team, you separate your income from your time. Instead of handling every file, you oversee a process within a system. Instead of responding to every email, for example, you have an assistant managing your communication that's clearly laid out in your 10 email commandments playbook, which I have. This is how the top 1% of all loan officers make 7 figures a year while only working 30, 40 hours a week. Think about it. If you close 10 loans a month solo, you're probably drowning. And if you're doing a great job, it will come at the cost of your personal well-being. But if you have a high-performing team supporting you, those same 10 loans feel effortless. And when you're no longer buried in low-value activities, you gain more time to invest in high-value activities, which means more income without adding more work because you'll benefit from the economies of scale, which I will talk more in detail about in a few minutes. So, what's one thing you just hate doing in your business that you can't wait to delegate? Drop it in the comments below. If you think it's impossible to make $1 million a year while working less than 40 hours a week, that's the first problem, your mental mechanics. It needs some fine tuning. But I used to have that same mindset. See, about 10 years ago, I remember being on vacation in Scottsdale, Arizona, but I was stuck in my hotel room all the 3 days we were out there while my girlfriend, my now wife, sat poolside waiting for me. I was onboarding new leads, structuring pre-approvals, locking loans, double-checking my loan processing team's work, and checking emails. Should I go on? It was terrible, and some of you can relate. See, most loan officers live in that cycle. You grind throughout the week, handle every client yourself, work weekends, answer emails at dinner, and still feel like you're treading water. And when you're not working, you're thinking about work. So you tell yourself you're doing what it takes to succeed, but the truth is you're trapped. I see it every day. Loan officers who hesitate to hire because they think it's an expense and not an investment. They think no one can do these things as well as me, so they micromanage every detail. And then they wait until they're completely drowning before they even considering bringing in help. When it's too late and that first hire is most likely the wrong hire, causing you to panic even more. You're late to hire, you suck at hiring, and terrible at training. I get it. Again, I was that person. But the moment I stopped thinking like a loan officer and started thinking like a business owner, I realized that hiring the right people was the only way to scale. Because if you don't have a team, you don't have a business. You have a job. And as long as you're doing everything yourself, your income, your freedom, and your future will be limited. And I don't want that for you. See, most loan officers never build a real business because they never break through what I call the pain line. They work hard, they close deals, but they stay stuck in the same cycle, grinding day in and day out without ever reaching true financial and time freedom. Now, I've studied study this mortgage business inside and out, and I've chronicled my journey from zero to $150 million a year in personal production, and I can tell you with certainty, there are 5 rungs to the mortgage mastery ladder. Where you are on this ladder determines where you have a job or a real business. Let me verbalize and visualize it for you. Level 0, we're not even on the ladder yet. This is like pure survival mode. This is where we all start. No systems, no processes, no consistency. You're barely generating 10 leads a month with little marketing and sales skills and have 0 time blocking. If you're here, you're either brand new or you're on the verge of burning out. This stage is pure chaos. It's where you're a fear-based mess, barely making $60,000 a year. Level 1 is when you're actually on the ladder, the first rung. It's the hustle stage. You're starting to learn some basic marketing and sales skills and some operational skills. You're closing a few loans a month and you're probably putting out fires daily. This is a highly reactive stage where you're closing in on $100,000 a year, but you're grinding out 10 plus hour days, almost 80-hour weeks. Level 2 is where 90% of all loan officers get stuck. You're making decent money, probably over $100,000 a year, but your business owns you. You're still working crazy hours. Even though you might have a dedicated or shared loan officer assistant, that person is probably incompetent or overwhelmed with all the other loan officers that he or she has to support, causing you to have constant paranoia if things are getting done to your liking. You still have a lot of roller coaster months of production, and every time you take on more business, you just get busier and more glued to making sure the business gets done right. That is the pain line many level 2 loan officers come up against. And if you don't break through, you will stay stuck there forever and end up being broken physically, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually, what I call the PEMS. Now, level 3 is the shift from chaos to control. This is where the mortgage magic happens, and where only 10% of all loan officers can get into. After a few mishires and misfires, you finally get 1 or 2 great loan officer assistants and an awesome loan processor that's either designated or dedicated to you. You also have some standard, predictable lead to lock to loan to loyalty systems in place that your team subscribes to. It's what I call great players and great playbooks. You also have time to take off without worrying about shit not getting done. Your income at this stage is well over $250,000, and you're doing more of the activities you're good at and enjoy. You have created the most important multiplier in business at this stage, and that's called leverage. It's when things start to get fun. Now, level 4 is when only the top 1% of loan officers can operate. At this level, your business is running effectively and efficiently, with or without you, for an extended period of time. You have a dedicated team handling everything from lead intake to loan funding. So you can focus on what I call those HVAs, high value activities, like prospecting new quality relationships, deepening those existing quality relationships, and creating a recurring income by recruiting loan officers that want to learn from you. You also have an amazing team captain that has taken over a majority of your initial loan consultations, some of your rate lock consultations, all of your annual mortgage review consultations. I mean, your income at this level is no less than $1 million a year, and you can work 40 hours a week if you want to. It's an amazing stage. Now, there is the absolute apex, which is level 5. This is where only about 0.1% of all loan officers ever get to. Your business runs itself. You have freedom. You're no longer just interested in making only money, but living abundantly and making an impact before you're worried about making an income. It's where you're an executive or a chairman of your team, branch, division, region, or even a company, and your income is well north of $2 million a year. You have a full personal production team with 10 plus loan officers that you're leading. It's an amazing stage to be in. Now, fortunately, like I mentioned, 90% of loan officers never get past level 2. And there are some times where you'll fall from level 3 to level 2. Level 2 will keep pulling you back in. It's not because you're not capable or you don't want to get to level 3, 4, and 5, but sometimes it's because of multiple different reasons. One could be that your mortgage mastery ladder is actually on the wrong wall, meaning you're at the wrong company or in the wrong environment, because as the old saying goes, your habitat creates your habits, or you're just not willing to invest in yourself, the rungs on the ladder, which are the new skills that are required to level up, because what got you here will keep you here. The only way to break through is to build up your marketing, sales, and operational skills, with operations being a major driver because it's built on who you hire. Now, most loan officers make the mistake of hiring backwards. They either wait too long or end up hiring in desperation, or they hire the wrong person at the wrong time, and those mishires create more problems than they actually solve. I'm going to save you years of trial and error by giving you the exact hiring blueprint. So let's get into it. Your first hire is a loan partner 3. This is essentially a standard loan processor. It's the person who takes the file from lock to funding or RESPA to CTC to funding. This person is involved in the pre-underwriting and post-underwriting functions, while in most cases, also handling all the third-party docs, the ICD and the CD. And I call this position a loan partner 3 and not a loan processor because words matter. And a loan partner is this, and a loan processor is this. Sorry, but your job is not to just push paper anymore. It's to actually have strong cash, credit, capacity, collateral, and communication skills. And hiding behind emails or having the loan officer or loan officer assistant step in doesn't cut it anymore. They're not allowed to say, your client hasn't gotten me the documents. No, it's our clients haven't gotten the documents. That's important. And the most important hire of your career is a loan partner 2. I have a saying that the 2 most important people in your life is your life partner and your loan partner. And the right loan partner 2 will 10x your career. You are just one A+ loan partner 2 away from absolutely crushing it. Or as I call it, a licensed loan processor or underwriter with a personality. This person has 3 duties. They pre-qualify, pre-approve, and manage your pipeline. And you've essentially delegated part of your brain where this person can start to think like you in certain situations and make decisions for you. This loan partner 2 will immediately free you up from being the bottleneck in your business, allowing you to fully focus on lead generation and relationship building. If you're closing 5 to 7 loans a month consistently without this person, the right hire with the right training will 2x your results within 90 days and start giving you more personal harmony because he or she can also support you with after-hour needs. Most people will ask if they can hire someone without any experience in this role. And my answer is no. You are most likely wanting to do that to save money, and when you pay peanuts, you get monkeys. Hire someone with experience. That also isn't a low-producing loan officer secretly renting this position from you until the market turns around. You'll end up wasting all that sweat equity and training because they'll end up most likely leaving you. And in the back of their mind, they're just waiting to do their own business again. And if you hire someone with no experience, you're wasting your time training this person on the fundamentals they should already know. And you'll end up saying, I'll just do it myself. Now, your third hire is a loan partner 1. This is a non-licensed administrative assistant. This person manages your leads, calendar, database, and emails. Once you're consistently generating about 30 to 40 leads or so a month, you cannot afford to be doing administrative work. Otherwise, you'll experience either roller coaster months or have an inability to increase your production without it negatively affecting your personal life. You're essentially delegating your hands now to this person. All those LVAs, low value activities, which will in return increase your RGATs, as I call it, revenue generating activity time. Did you notice how specific I was with each loan partner's top 3 to 4 duties? Most loan officers not only mishire or hire in the wrong sequencing, they give that assistant or loan partner 7 things to be responsible for that demand a scattered set of skills. Do not do that. Be clear on what each person's top 3 to 4 responsibilities are and how they are measured. Now, pay attention because a lot of loan officers mess this up by hiring in the wrong order or not hiring the right person. Notice how an LP3 is actually the first hire, the LP2 is the second hire, and the LP1 is a third. Your borrower will experience your team like visiting a restaurant. The LP1 is the hostess, the first point of contact that onboards every new visitor to your team effectively and nicely. The LP2 is like the waiter or waitress that helps pre-qualify and pre-approves the borrowers alongside you. And the LP3 is the chef, preparing the loan documents and getting the loan approved for delivery. You need the chef first, the waiter or waitress second, and the hostess last in your hiring sequence. Do not bring on an LP1 first because you might be wasting salary cap space, then causing you the inability to afford an awesome LP2. Or don't hire an inexperienced LP2, as I mentioned earlier on, at a discount and try to teach them the mortgage business. It will drain you. You can consider doing that only if you already have a seasoned rockstar LP2 that's willing to train that new person. You must hire the right person in the right sequencing and then have a cadence of training and coaching with playbooks. Now, once you have those right people at the right version of themselves in the right seat, it will all fail if you don't follow this 3-step delegation process. See, most loan officers struggle because they either hold on to everything out of fear or they dump tasks on their team without a clear plan. So stage 1 is where you start to offload the things you're bad at and hate doing. These are the tasks that drain your energy and pull you away from making a higher impact and a higher income. So if you despise, for example, following up on loan disclosures, dealing with underwriters, chasing underwriting conditions, this should be the first things to go. The moment you hire a great loan partner 3, they take things like this off your plate. Stage 2 is where you delegate what you're good at but dislike doing. Maybe you're solid at updating pre-approvals, but it's not where your highest value lies. This is where a great loan partner 2 comes in. They take over any initial loan structuring questions that your realtors might be calling around pre-qualing. They handle all pre-approvals, the strategy, the issuing, and they manage the entire pipeline. This is where you will immediately have more time and energy to focus on those HVAs, high-value activities, like recruiting more quality realtors, which will generate more revenue that can be reinvested back into hiring another great loan partner in the sequencing, a loan partner 1. This is where now you can really offboard your last set of LVAs. Remember, those are low-value activities. This is like onboarding leads, managing leads, following up with leads, confirming appointments on your calendar, sending snail mail to your closed database, and checking all your emails. This is when you really start to buy back your time. Now, the stage 3 of delegation is where you finally get to delegate the things you actually like and you're good at. This is the hardest step, but it's what separates the top 1% from everybody else. See, at some point with a great LP1, LP2, and LP3 team, you'll need to hand off even the tasks so you can almost fully focus only you can do for the team, which is to generate more referral opportunities. This is where a team captain comes into play, who is typically a former loan partner 2 on your team that's been indoctrinated, speaks the language of your team, and represents all your values. They're able to take on a lot more of your borrower and referral partner communications. They can manage the LP1 now to ensure he or she is maintaining the required lead to consultation appointment ratio. They're ensuring the LP2 is properly issuing all pre-approvals accurately with a high level of service. And they also oversee the LP3 and some of the specifics around making sure key milestone contract dates are being met and that nothing is falling out of line. They can do all this while also being able to take over a majority, if not all, of your initial loan consultations and some of your rate lock consultations. And they can even have your LP1 schedule the annual mortgage review consultations. They take so much off your plate. This is when you really start winning and start to grab massive market share. A huge kind of mental mistake loan officers make is thinking that delegation is an all or nothing process. It's not. It's a progressive shift that happens in stages. And if you have the right people, the delegation becomes super easy. You're starting to see why most loan officers stay stuck and how some loan officers are just having record months and down months while able to take vacations because of the team that they built. But we're just getting into the good stuff. If you're serious about scaling without burning out, I want you to hit that subscribe button below. And I'm going to share with you how to earn more without sacrificing more so you can still win personally. Now, there's always a but. Even delegating tasks won't work if you're making these 3 mistakes. Number 1 is hiring too slow. Don't wait until you're drowning. By then, you will be so overwhelmed that you will rush the process and end up grabbing the first warm body instead of finding the right fit. You will be stuck with someone who isn't a good match, but you will be afraid to fire them because it feels like starting over. I almost related to an unhappily miserable married couple that sleeps in different beds, but it's just the pain and nuisance of getting divorced. Because when you invest 8 to 12 hours a day with a bad team member, that's how it can feel. Number 2 is micromanaging them. You bring someone in, but you don't trust them to take things off your plate. Instead of them giving them real responsibility and real training, you're constantly checking their work, fixing their mistakes, helicopter managing them, and then end up doing most of the job yourself. If you don't train your team, you don't have a team. You have extra work. Train and thou shalt grow. And then there's the flip side. This is when you start leading selfishly, where you're fully hands off and you expect your team to magically figure things out and like read your mind. You don't train them properly. You don't set clear expectations, and then you snap at them and get frustrated when things fall apart. That's terrible leadership. And number 3 is overpaying or underpaying. When you underpay, you'll attract the wrong talent. If you overpay, you'll end up bleeding profits, especially when the market shifts and does better, and then you'll have to restructure compensation properly so your team is still motivated and that your margin stays strong. So you see, it takes a lot of skill and the right ingredients to build a great personal production team. So listen, if you've made it this far, you have a choice. You can either try to figure this all out on your own, or you can skip all the years of trial and error and pay less of a dumb tax by plugging into the same system that we've created that's helping hundreds of top producers triple their business while greatly reducing their hours work. You'll get access to so many resources, including 4+ hours of training for free, where I break down things like my exact 5-step realtor engagement system that I've used to generate hundreds of high-quality mortgage leads every single month. I will show you exactly what to say, when to say it, how to win more buyers. You'll also get access to multiple pieces of content that we use to bring in 5 to 7 leads a day. These are the same systems I use myself and share with other top producing loan officers. If you follow that blueprint, you'll never have to choose between making money and having freedom. Just tap the link in the description or on the screen now to get everything for free. Let's win.